Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here. Today I have a preview for Metrorunner. This one's from Thunderworks Games. They make role player. Their specialty is that light to middleweight Euro style game. This one fits right in there of the worker placement variety. You are playing a runner in a cyberpunk-esque futuristic land. You are trying to gain influence. So you're going to be going around the spaces, taking actions in that worker placement style, where you go to a place, you get a bunch of things. You use those things in order to fulfill your missions. As you fulfill missions, you'll increase in your influence, notoriety, accomplish goals, and try to be the best runner in the land. There are two major innovations with this one. First of all, this is a train route. So as you move your worker, you're going to be taking spots along this route and trying to maximize your efficiency that way. Also, as an added piece along the way, every once in a while, you're going to manipulate this center board kind of hack style, creating pathways to generate even more resources. So there are a lot of different design elements that are woven together in this one single package. In addition, we get the patented Thunderworks solo mode, simple, quick, yet challenging, and definitely delivering a sense of the multiplayer game. And so after some channel announcements, I'm going to get into an overview of the game and then a full playthrough. So let's go to the videotape and check out Metrorunner. Let's begin with the player area. Every player is going to get a character. The character is a merc, what the game calls a runner. So normally in cyberpunk games, you're resisting some kind of overlord or corporation coming in. Here, the corporations are pretty much taking over. They're gaining influence, and your job is to do jobs, ingratiate yourself, and create your niche and build up your personal wealth. In this particular case, there are 5 areas of the city where I can gain my niche, and I'm going to try to dominate in the market square. Every character is going to start with some resources. That is what is going to be useful to complete quests. I start with 2 quests in hand. And also the game's currency, which is credit. This doesn't get you any points or anything, but they're useful to fire off bonus actions, which I will get into as we get into the playthrough. And so here is that central metro area. We got 5 different districts. I begin in the market square. My influence and notoriety are rather low, but as I complete jobs, I will get some of those up. So I'm going to say these words, notoriety and everything else, points. This game is about points, points, points. There are different pathways in order to be able to achieve points. You have to be mindful of multiple things at once in order to maximize your score. I'll get into all that as I go through the explanation, but for now, know that really at the center of the game is going to certain places, gathering your requisite resources so that you can complete jobs. So on your turn, you are going to have 3 different phases. You're going to have a move, you take 1 action, and then you clean up. So for the move step, as you can see, the arrow only goes one way, and for the vast majority of the time, just going to be following the train around the metro area. So you get your first 2 moves for free. You don't have to spend any extra resources. So I can move here and be okay, or I can move 1, 2 and be okay without spending anything extra. So if I wanted to land here, then I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, spend 1 extra cube of resource in order to achieve that move. Or once per turn, I could spend a card in place of a resource. You kind of don't want to do that. Do that only if it is really necessary. So this is the rogue agent. This is the bot token. So the bot actually occupies this space in this particular example. So I couldn't just go there. So if I wanted to move here, I'm out of luck. But if I wanted to get over here, that would cost me only 1 extra because I go 1, 2, skip whatever is in here, spend my extra resource and go here. That is also true in the multiplayer. If there's another runner here, then that would be basically a 0 space and you would move on to the next area. So let's talk about these 2 really important gather actions. We can gather resources and also get cards. If I were to go to a gather resources space, then I would look on my notoriety track and see how many I would gather. So gray means I can gather one of any color. So if I were to land on that spot and gather resources, then I would gather one of the 5 colors and then move on. As I increase my notoriety, I might be able to get 2 or 3. Either I'm persuasive and people are more willing to give up their stuff, or I'm a little bit intimidating. They give me a little bit of a payoff to go away. Either way, more stuff, that's great. The other action is to collect 2 jobs from this job offer. So I begin with 2. One is the basic, really easy to fulfill, gets me started, and then I get a random one from the deck. And so when I take this action, I will be able to draft 2 of them. I can either draft 2 from the row or 2 from the top or mix them up. In good worker placement faction, I'm going to want a draft card for which I have the resources, be able to spend them, get some resources back, and then kind of develop that chain in order to keep the jobs flowing. The last location action I can take in terms of spaces on the board is this hack action. So I would go over here and then I would say I want to complete one of these 2 little pathways. So let's say I'm looking at Omega Logistics. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect the green nodes. So then I would look at the board and I get 2 different manipulations. A manipulation could be twisting. It could be shifting, which would be taking one of these and moving that over there. Or it could be switching, which is moving that right there. So there's a lot of options in terms of manipulating this central area. You get 2 actions. As with movement, you can spend a resource to get an extra action. That's costly. Try not to do that. So as an example, let's say I wanted to hack this Omega Logistics and connect the green nodes. I noticed that I'm already connected over here and I just have to get a line going somehow. So let's go ahead and do a rotation for 1 and let's do a shift, right? So let's go, or yeah, there you go, shift. Okay, boom. So I got and I have completed this mission, which would get me a little bit of notoriety and a resource. Notice I don't get any points. So this is not going to help me with my point getting, but it does open up some resources to eventually get some points. So now you're noticing that there are these other symbols over here, the blue and the purple. Those are alpha and beta hacks, and that depends on my influence. As I build my influence, I'm going to be able to unlock the ability to include the blue and the purple in my pathway. So if I'm able to complete a whole pathway that connects either 3 or all 4 of these, then I get extra stuff. So connecting the blue would get me a credit, connecting the purple would get me an extra notoriety. So as the game goes on, you are going to look at this thing harder and harder in order to discover the right pathway to maximize your benefits. You get all the benefits and then you discard it face down. Every one of these hacker cards are going to put extra resources on the board. You might be able to tell that there are these special spaces inside each of the districts. You would take a look. In black would get a yellow cube, and then in blue would get a black cube, and that would represent 1 full hacking action. Now you're probably asking me, Jason, all right, you've explained all of the outside spots. You haven't told me though how to gather all these wonderful resources on the board or how to actually complete a quest. All right, well, I got you covered. So those are district actions. These are districts, and in any single space in a particular district, I can take that particular district action. There's 2 of them. So if I'm hard up on resources, or if I need a certain type of resource, I can just gain a resource depending on where I am in a district. If I'm in black, then I would take a black cube and pass turn. That'd be it. Anytime I take a district action, I can also sweep up what's in here. So district action, especially for the cube, is not very strong, but sometimes you might get a build up. You go in here, I take a district action to gather. Yoop, I got a whole bunch of stuff. Now you probably noticed there are spaces on the divider. That means I can do a district action at either place. So if I want to take a blue cube, then I will take from here. If I want to take a black cube, then I'll take from here. Pretty simple. The other district action that I can take is I can complete jobs. So let's say I was anywhere in blue. I'll say I am not going to use a location action. I'm going to complete a job. I have this blue job. You see the logo matches up the color. Look at everything. So you can only complete this particular color job within the district. It's like, this is where your contact is. So you have to find the contact, get whatever they want done. In this particular case, track dark web ID leak. There's all sorts of jobs that you can do. That is very localized. Completing jobs in this game is so awesome. It's like Christmas. You get so much stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to spend my resources. I got 2 blue and a red. So then instantly I get some rewards, and there's usually 2 that are listed on the bottom of the card. The rewards are like gain on a track, or get a card, or get resources. Very simple within the context of the game. Not only do I get that, I get to choose where to put them in my board. I got 1 of 3 slots. And if I wanted to get a particular reward, increase my influence, notoriety, or get more resources, then I would slide that under, indicating that I have finished the job. Especially early in the game, you're going to want to do jobs that give you special powers. So this would be a power like whenever I gather a blue cube, get an extra blue cube. Or whenever I use a job, then I would use 1 red as a wild. There's a couple of other variations of powers. So in the early game in particular, you're going to want to complete jobs that give you power so that you can complete the next jobs more and more efficiently. And also, because it's a Thunderworks game, they always give you multiple things to think about whenever you complete a scoring condition. So you have your powers, you got to think about that. You have the point total of the cards, you got to think about that too. You have what you want out of your board, think about that. And finally, you got to think about this row, which are in-game scoring conditions. Some are easier, some are harder. These are modular, these are changed from game to game. You match up the symbols with the overall scoring conditions at the end of the game. So I'm working for the military. The military wants me to complete these type of jobs. If I can complete a row of 3 with these 3 symbols, 1, 2, 3, then I will get an additional 5 points at the end of the game. So maximizing that, getting the most out of it, comparing your short-term gains to your long-term scoring goals, that's the key in order to do well in Metrorunner. That sounds pretty hard, but the game does give you a couple of breaks. Here's one right here, a wild card. So you can complete that, doesn't give you any kind of benefit, but it counts as any symbol towards one of the end game goals. So don't say the game doesn't treat you nice sometimes. Speaking of being nice, the game also gives you access to these boosts, which are little powers that you can do to manipulate things in your favor. You can pay for as many of these as you want, but you can only do each of them once per turn. So if I want to get to a particular place, pay money, use the car, go right there, skip everything else. I could reset the job boards. I can use any spare money that I have to boost up my influence or my notoriety, whichever is lowest. Or if I want to have that Nova turn, do a lot at once, strong arm the locals, get another action. Once again, this game puts a lot in front of you in terms of the pathways to scoring, but also gives you a lot of tools to navigate those paths and find the most efficient one for you. By the end of the game, your board might look like this. You'll have a bunch of completed jobs. You'll count up your progress on these tracks, the points on your cards, whatever you have achieved in terms of your overall conditions, and a couple of spare points for if you have some spare resources, and that will determine the winner of the game. And finally, there is a solo mode in this game. Of course, it's Thunderworks, but you have to have solo. Comes out of this Automa deck. So in solo, I'm competing against what they call the rogue agents. I'm not competing with them directly in the sense that they don't score, gather resources, etc. So it is a quote-unquote high-score variant. You could do better and worse. However, the Automa does get in your way. The game is very aware of the pain points. Those places where it's like, oh, you took my spot, or you flipped a card that I needed, or anything like that. So there's going to be directions that manipulate the 2 rogue tokens. And then, as you can see, it'll discard cards off the job offer or mess up the middle. Just kind of getting in my way, messing with my strat. Here is the score chart at the end of the game. Let's see if I can do a little bit better than Corporate Punk here on the bottom. All right, fresh deal, ready to begin. I got my starter card, and I got 1 red quest. So if I wanted to, I could stop by right here, pick up a black cube, and get this done immediately. But don't know if the bot is just going to ninja that spot, take that away from me. Let's go ahead and plan to complete the red quest. So I'm going to go over here. and take a red cube. Turns are really fast. Unless you're messing with the hacking, the game breezes right along. Here is the first solo bot card. First thing you do is resolve the movement of the 2 rogue agents. This one does not move, denies me access to this hack square. That's fine. The black one moves up here, surrounding me, so to speak. Sometimes it'll just move forward, but a lot of times the bot will just kind of like crowd me in. Next thing I check for is whether the bot has more or less notoriety than I do. If it has more notoriety than I do, or it's equal, then it does this weaker action. If I'm ahead on notoriety, the game kind of like, whoa, and tries to catch up. So I'm not going to have more notoriety for a little while. So just go ahead and do this left side. So then while I'm here, I'll just go ahead and pop that. That's over here. It's kind of a timer of the game. I don't know if I mentioned, one of the end game timer triggers is crossing this threshold, so the bot is putting pressure on me to get things done. Also, it is going to discard 1 card from the row, and if there was some cubes in the black area right here, it would discard those as well. I don't have to worry about that, so we're just going to return that to the bottom of the deck and get a new one. As you can see, the bot just does a bunch of things to annoy me and get in my way. Ooh, a yellow. So I was going to go about my merry turn, but this yellow changes things a little bit. First of all, so I have the yellow and the red, which means that I am a little bit more towards my military. So if I get a blue, all 3 of these in one column, that's 5 fat points. It's great. Another thing I forgot to mention in the overview is you do score majorities. And so in terms of controlling this area, the market square, in solo, you score 1 point for each of your home faction's quests. So let's go ahead and take what the game gives me, go on the take job action. Let's take this, and in case I want to complete surveillance, I can take one of those. This one is easier to complete. And so I will take this yellow and this black. No, I cannot take one and then refill. I have to take both of them. You can also take from the top deck, but I liked what was in the offer. Got another yellow and a red. All right, the bot goes. The gold is going to progress 2. Don't have to worry about that at all. We got 1, skips me 2, 3. I think that's how it works. I will note in the designer moves if there's a little bit of a wrinkle that I'm missing, but for now I'm just going to say it's like, okay, if any piece passes by an occupied square, it just kind of skips it and moves on to the next one. That's how I'm going to play it. According to the card, the influence will move up 2. That is the tick-tick timer. And if I wanted to complete this red, too bad, so sad, back to the market with you, and I get another red. That's not bad at all. And so I got a little bit lucky here, so we are going to jump right on top of that luck with both feet. We're going to go to the hack section. I see that this ringware net has nodes in the top corners. If you notice the central puzzle area, I already have that completed. Sometimes that's going to happen, not often. When it does, take advantage. I take advantage because I wanted the rewards here, especially the cubes. The cubes make things nice and easy for me. I'm going to get a purple and a blue to set up quest doing next turn. I don't love this because it's going to trigger the better bot action, but I do progress my notoriety 1. And just in case I needed purple cubes, we get purple cubes in the south side and in the waterfront reserve areas. The bot reprisal, let's move those back here. The rogue agents love doing a dance. Oh, sorry about that. Around what I have going on. And once again, the better bot action obtains. So if I had designs on this, that's too bad. It flips that down here. Also, it manipulates the area right here. So that messes me up a little bit. Although, I like having the pathway out. It's actually pretty advantageous for me. I like that. That doesn't matter. That would discard extra cubes in the yellow area. But here is the clincher. The bot is like, give that back. So I like the beginning of this game so far. Everything's flowing pretty smoothly. So I get to go 1 over here. I'm still in red. And I'm going to do the district action to turn in this quest. All right, so we got 2 reds, a purple, and a blue. And what I like to do early is get resources. So first of all, that'll happen off screen. I'll progress my influence 1. And I tuck my card in here. So between the reward on the card and the reward here, I'm going to take all cubes. You know I love my quests. I'm going to go red for the bonus, black, black, and yellow. If I say the camera now, you know what's going on. I'll have this zoomed out so I can show you everything at once. So then we have the gold is going to move forward 1. The black's going to go 1, 2, 3. And I am less. So let's turn this one over and get a new card. And get, oh, did I do that flip already? Oh, well, back to where it was. And a blue cube in the waterfront. And tick, tick, tick. So now I was hoping to get a hack going, but you got to take what the game gives you. So we're going to go 1, 2 to get myself into the black, use a district action, and complete another quest. There are only 3 slots for quests, and there's maximum 3 quests that can go in each, so 9 total. Because there are 3 slots, you can only complete 3 of these. So I'm going to go for the gusto and try to get these 3. Towards this end right here, surveillance, my only black quest that I hope to complete. Let's go ahead and get that over with. That gets me a job card, an influence, a notoriety, and this power, which allows me to draw an extra black when I draw black for any reason. So I do get a job quest. I'm going to try to top deck one for a blue. Let's see if I get a blue. Nope, that's a yellow, a worthy backup. I get an influence and a notoriety. I'm 1 away from getting the better improved gathering resources step, but I have unlocked my, I think that's alpha, beta, I'm not really sure. We're going to call that the blue node. Indicate that by flipping this. The next time I hack, I'm going to try to add a 3rd path and get the blue rewards off of those hack cards. The bot doesn't like it, so they are going to deploy and try to get in my way. We're going to discard that right there. Oh, by the way, I had completed this as a district action, so I get this. That's why I did it. And that's important to say because the bot card would have thrown away those cubes there. That's why I rushed it. Beautiful. And tick, 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 more influence. All right, my next action is a hack. And just as a comment, I don't normally do this during playthroughs, but as fast and flowing as the regular turns are, the hack section is analysis paralysis tactic. I will never ever play this game with more than 2 players. I'm too impatient for that. At solo, it's wonderful. I can just pause the camera, be here 5 minutes, and do what I got to do. But just know that this game is going to struggle if you're with any players at all who don't think in this spatial way, which I certainly do not. Having said all that, because I'm a solo player, let's go for it. Cool, so I'm going to do this one. I noticed that I already have this one begun. So we are going to do 1 swap right there for 1 action. So that completes these 2 nodes right there. So now I have to get over here, and I noticed I could do that as well. That is a twist. Yoop, yoop, yoop. Oh. And so this quest gets me a notoriety. I've unlocked the better gather action. I get another credit. So I have 2 credits for the better actions right there. And a cube. That's going to be black because I'm no fool. When I get a black, I get another black. Every single time that happens, there is a maximum of 10 cubes, so I do need to watch for that. But if you're in the flow of that usual worker placement, you know, gather, spend, this is not bad to manage. And let's get some purple cubes out there towards the north of the market. Purple stuff. The bot does not like it, but there's nothing they can do, suckers. 1, 2, 3. The back goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We're tied, so it does the weaker power, so it's going to get rid of this red, but I have the quest that I want, so I'm not too worried about that. And it does progress this influence. Tick, tick, tick. The next quest out there. Oh, by the way, I did get my blue, another yellow. Ooh, look at that. So this quest is a little bit harder to fulfill, but if I was able to do it, I get progressed in both, and I get this blunt force token. So once per, basically it's a one-shot for the game. You get a token, and you can replace this with any, take out any of these areas, put the best pathway token there just for a turn to make hacking easier. I might just do that. Next moves, go ahead and move 2 and grab some quests. I see a blue. I can complete that pretty easily. Hopefully I can do that next turn. And I'm also going to top deck one. I got a purple, and it is the one where that gives me the block token and those. Another version of that. Heck yeah. Don't have purple, but I think I can fix that pretty soon. All right, we get a new card. Oh, there's that wild that I was mentioning before. But let's see if the bot takes it. They would take it if I was ahead on notoriety, but they won't. All right, so let's move that ahead 1. Let me go 1, 2. Sorry about that, runner man or lady, whatever you are. So then we cycle this one, which I kind of had my eye on that. That's a little bit inconvenient. That's too bad. We get that moved along, and in red we get a red cube. Nice setup for a district action. And oh, let me not forget, more notoriety for the bot. I had a plan, but the puzzle here ended up too perfect. Do not let this fool you. The puzzle does not do this every time. All right, so I'm going to hack. I only need one move in order to do what I want to do. A lot of it is helped by the fact that I've just been really lucky with where this token is in particular, because that gives me this condition. So I got that, and then I got this for the blue, and then whoop, right there. 3 of these are linked. Beautiful. All right, so I get some rewards, including the notoriety, a credit, and a cube. So the notoriety puts me here, even with the bot. I like that. A cube, I'm going to start to build up my yellow. I got plenty of yellow to finish. And a credit. I now have 3 credits. Let's go ahead and turn that over. Reds are going to appear when I get back. Oh, wow. There's going to be a red in blue, and I'm already at blue, and there's a red in black. Sorry about that. Instead of that yellow, I'm going to take a red, which is the smarter action anyway, because 1 red equals a wild, so it's the equivalent of taking a yellow. So now that I have 3 credits, I'm feeling a little bit flush. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of them to strong-arm the locals. After I take an action, take a different available action. That's going to be here. I see all these cubes. The bot might discard them and take them away from me. Let's not have that happen. We are going to do this blue. So we got 2 blue. Remember, I got the 1 red wild. I have another red that is going to get discarded, and I have accomplished this blue quest. So the blue is towards this goal, the military goal. So let's go ahead and tuck that in right there. Before I fully tuck that in, I'm going to get some influence. I am now up to getting right behind the bot. Let me go ahead and grab a job. I'll grab the wild. Nice to have a little flexible option. And I do have a hand size of 5 cards. Anything above, if I end a turn, I have to discard, just like with the max 10. So that's cool. All right. Do I want the cubes or do I want the credit? I want the cubes. So let's go ahead and get a red, which is wild, and a yellow. Build up the yellows because I have a lot of yellow quests to complete. And then, beautiful, because I took that district action, I get to claim all these cubes in the waterfront. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fantastic. I am set up for some damage the rest of the way. Refill the board. I get another wild. The wilds are pretty standard. It's just 1 of each for each of those. They call it freelance quests. All right, the bot goes. We reset and surround me. Still even with the bot. So we lose access to that. Hack. We get a little bit of manipulation in the middle. A purple or a yellow lands in the purple, and they get 1 ahead of me in the notoriety track, which, as you can see, I don't mind. As long as I keep pace, I'm feeling pretty good. We are on a quest train, so let's go ahead and continue doing quests. This time it is erase evidence of fraud in my home area. So we have 1, 2, 3. Remember, the red is wild for me once per turn, and a blue. Let's get rid of that, and I'm going to stick that in here for the final. And we get 1 influence. I've been keeping pace with the bot, no more and no less. And I also have a choice. Do I want the credit or 2 cubes? And also the same choice over here. I got 5 cubes, and also because of the district action, I get 6 cubes. Do I want to get 4 more or 2 more? How does that all work out? So let's do one of each. We're going to do 1 credit for here, and then here I'm going to take the 2 cubes. So that'll be 1 blue, which is another blue, and a red, which is wild when I spend it. So this column right here, red, blue, yellow, completes red, blue, yellow on the military, onwards and upwards. The bot is so mad at me, I could see the seething hatred coming off of the card. Still keeping pace with the notoriety. So it's doing make sure it does that left side action as much as possible. Moving the hack around here. Haven't needed the hack too much. That's okay. We got that right there. And, well, I really hope they don't go on a little run over here. That'd be bad for me. All right, I was thinking about hacking, but before I do that, well, I blocked over here. So let's just go ahead and go 1, 2, and complete a quest. It's going to be my freelance quest. Freelance quest is really nice to help me build those sets right over here. So we are going to go black, purple, blue, red, and another red, which is a wild for me once per turn. Let's get that stuck in there. We get 2 influence. Woohoo! Bam! And a credit. So that brings me to 3 credits. And you'll never end the game with a lot of credits. Because of this action, the viral marketing, you'll be able to just get influence or notoriety just by paying for it. So they won't be stuck. That's points over there. So I'm not too worried about building that up. And 4 points, that's on the higher end of what can be gotten. And also, because my influence crossed this threshold over here, I can now make the maximum number of links whenever I hack. And oh, by the way, did I forget to mention, I am downtown. I took a district action, so I get those cubes. I've played this game a couple of times before. Just the fun of exploring the different rhythm that you can establish. At this point, I think I have the rhythm figured out pretty good. Watch, I'm going to get a middling score, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. So that's all that matters. All right, so the bot does not like the idea of me hacking, so just hop from hack to hack. And it goes 1, 2, 3. It really doesn't like me, the idea of me hacking. Oh, that's too bad. Then it's going to discard this yellow one. Ooh, this was a nice fat 4. I was thinking about that one. That's too bad. Got a blue. I might take advantage of that, and it progresses right there. Another example of spending over 5 minutes off camera looking at stuff, but I think I have figured something out. So let's go ahead and get rid of a cube to give me an extra piece of movement. So this is 1, 2 movement is free, and then I have to do another movement to go here. Stupid yellow denying me 1 cube. I could have gone here and drafted some cubes. I would have gotten 2. But I see a nice, delicious Enigma complex hacking opportunity over here, and I think I can get it done. That's where all the thinking was. So these are free. 1, 2, right there. So that links up that, and that. Now I have to connect this. How am I going to do that? I'm going to get rid of another cube. So this one's blue this time. Don't know if that is the wisest course of action, but I like all the rewards. Why not? So here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 exits. 1, 2, 3, 4 exits. We have completed this hack at maximum efficiency. So we get 2 credits, 2 cubes, and a notoriety. So I got my 2 credits. We got 2 cubes, which is going to be purple and yellow, catapulting me towards this quest right here. I needed more yellow, so I had to realign somehow. And I marked my notoriety on the sheet, and I think I did everything. There you go. And then on red and blue, there will be more cubes. All right, let's see what I got going on over here. These trail me. That's whatever. That one is lagging way far behind. I can ignore them at all. Still hovering behind. Oh, they were going to attack this thing, but the wrong one, but they did not want to leave that to chance. Let's switch those right there. Another orange right there. And getting closer to the end of the game. All right, so my cube train is slowing down a little bit because this one's going to be expensive, but I think it's going to be worth it. So for 3 purple and 2 yellow, one of which is my red wild, we are going to finish that quest, which brings me closer to purple. This financial one up here that is a little bit off camera, take my word for it, I get a valuable block token to manipulate the center. Although I haven't needed it, I will at some point. I get 2 influence and 1 notoriety. I'll actually show it this time. You see, I'm trying to coordinate my movements with the bot as much as possible. And for the district action, I get a cube. See what the bot does in response. Reorganizes itself to block me off of certain things. Go ahead and flip that. Flip that. I should play some music, right? Oh, man. No. Give me a couple more turns. All right, so I am in the dramatic endgame, running out of time, trying to get my last quest done before I do. So I'm going to go ahead, now that I am weak on cubes, finally, and trigger this gather resources space. I think my first time in the game, actually. For that, I look at my notoriety. Look at that. I waited until I was able to achieve the grabbing of the 3. So those 3 cubes are going to be 1 black, which gets me a black, 1 blue, which gets me a blue, a yellow. And I did not take a district action, even though I really want to check these out. That's too bad. They stay right there. And because I can't exactly dump these all at once, you can only do an action once per turn, I'm going to actually use this now, spend 2 to progress my, because I'm going to get a bunch of this. The influence, but notoriety is going to struggle a little bit more. So let's go ahead and make up for that with credits. The bot goes 1, 2, 3. The back bot goes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whew! Oh, whoa, boy, I really needed this space. Thank you very much for cooperating. All right, so we go ahead and discard this wild card. So if I had designs on that, that's too bad. And oh, wow. I could have only had 2 turns left. I need like 3 or 4 in order to do what I want to do. Because I need a blue quest. There's a blue quest right here in the row. Let's also top deck a quest, because this would really matter. This might be discard fodder, just in case I need to make something happen. I refill the market. Oh, man, look at that. Oh, I don't think I'm going to set up for this at all. I'm barely going to cross the finish line. But see, you can build up. You might not get as many quests, but this is a huge shot of points and resources. All right. So the black move stays right there. Look at that. They stay right there too. Cool. It's still ahead of me on notoriety, so it's going to do its shenanigans and place right there. This is the bad one, though. The next card that gives me the notoriety will signal the end of my game. So if I did the math right, I think I need 2 more turns. So let's go ahead and move over here and complete this quest as a district action. I already know I'm going to be claiming these. So I'll just yank these now while the camera's here. I'm going to complete this with 2 blue. Yellow is wild, so that's going to be a purple and a natural yellow. Let's go ahead and put these district tokens right there. And I get my 3 points. Oh, I get some cubes. Hopefully I get 1 more turn to take advantage of it. And I do get an influence. So as it turns out, I slightly miscalculated fate. Actually, I took fate into my own hands and I triggered the endgame on my own. I'll show you how. So I get my 2 cubes, and that will be 2 cubes, so that I can complete a quest that is going to be yellow and red right there. That's how I pushed the end game. I got 2 influence. I was too close to the end, too excited. So what happens now? This triggers the end game. The bot gets a turn, I get a turn, and then that is the end of the game. So I'm going to use these 2 credits right now since this is a new turn and move myself up. You see I have ascending points that I can get 8, 10, 12, 15, 18. Not going to cross the threshold. Probably not here. That may cost me. I could have managed this endgame a lot better. But as it turns out, the bot was against me. It would have progressed anyway and triggered the end game regardless. So I won't feel too bad. So let's go ahead and just for completion's sake, do everything that the bot says and put a, oh man, that's a whole bunch of tokens I could have gotten, but I won't get to those. Oh well. So if we're going to go out, let's go out in a blaze of glory. Hacking time. So I'm going to go for this initiative systems, node. I already have that one set up for my first move. Let's go ahead and move that right there. So that is 1, 2. Great. Actually, it is 1, 2, 3. So I got this whole thing set up. Can I get this? Remember when I got that blunt force token? Heck yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Come back to my room. I get all of these rewards. So that is 1 notoriety and 2 buckaroos, which doesn't really matter what cubes I get because I'm going to spend those immediately with my strong arming extra action and fulfill my last quest. So we're going to go 1, 2. That one of them is wild. We're going to go here. Hey, look at that. I'm able to get more stuff. This card doesn't matter, but these 2 do 1 extra notoriety and influence. Didn't think I would be able to get adversity over the line as well, but I did, so I'm feeling much better about my score. So I ended up with a point total of 68. We got 29 from the tracks right here. We got 39, 42 because I was able to match these 2. 42, 50, 53 right there. 59, 61, 63, 65, 66 from the one thing. You get 1 point per 5 left over, and I had 9 little articles of thing left over, so that's 1 point. 2 more points for 1 each from the yellow, and so that ends up with 68. I am an alpha replicant. So I played a couple. My first game ended up with 36. Got better and better, and I made it to replicant. I have yet to make it to prime runner. I may just play this game a couple more times, see if I can crack that before I send the prototype to someone else. Yes, this is a prototype. It looks pretty good, so I'm pretty confident in showing the whole game. The game is pretty good with a big asterisk in low player count. Once again, I reiterate that puzzle could be quite difficulty if your group isn't that way mentally when it comes to those puzzles. But as a low player count game, it works. The solo bot is clean. You see how fast the turns were. Everything makes sense. This is a crowdfunding, so it might be that there is further development, maybe a bot with more bite, challenge you a little bit more. So whatever you want to see with this game, let Thunderworks Games know. The crowdfunding will go live pretty soon. Whether it is before the crowdfunding when you see this video or during, you can click the link in the show notes. It'll take you directly to the page, back at whatever you feel comfortable with, and make your voice heard to make this game fit for you. My sincere hope is I've showed enough for this game so that you can make the decision on whether this is worth your backing time and your backing dollar. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. Martin, we will see you at the next stop.